Okay, so just sit cross-legged on your mat, and we're going to fold forward, but we're going to fold forward crossing the legs either way. So start whichever way you want, and then we'll change and do the other side. Okay, so let's take a nice big inhale, take the arms up, and then exhale, fold yourself forward. So you can use your cushions or whatever you have to hand here for your elbows or for your forearms, or if you're a little bit lower, for your head, or obviously you can just stay in this kind of position here, but it's quite nice to be supported. I've got some funky kind of cushions today, so we'll see how I get on with them. All right then. So just nice deep breathe in. And it may be that your head can come right to the ground, and if it does, then obviously you can just rest in that position there. So you can just start to take some nice deep breaths. So imagine counting to 4 for your inhale and 4 for your exhale. So we're just going to spend 2 minutes each side on these. So we've got a nice stretch into the hips, but then also if you've got a forward fold, then nice for the back as well, especially the lower back, and taking out the hamstrings. Okay, so nice and gently now you can start to bring yourself up. Okay, and then we'll just cross the legs the other way. So here my left leg is crossed first, so then just change and cross to the right leg first, or vice versa, however yours were. Okay, and then inhale again. And then exhale, fold yourself forward. So to come to wherever it is good for you. So if you know your Ujjayi breath, then you can just apply a gentle Ujjayi. Otherwise, just breathe nice and deep through your nose. And just as you're here, just start to feel your body sink down, allowing all the muscles in your back and your hips to relax. Just imagine them nice and warm and almost melting. So gently now start to bring yourself back up. Okay, and so we can unfold the legs, and let's just take feet flat to the ground. Take the hands just behind, and then lean back slightly and windscreen wiper the legs. So that's just a nice little bit of movement in the hips and also through into the back. Okay, and then bring yourself back upright and fold one leg into your body and extend the other leg out to the side. So this is my left leg, but again, it doesn't matter which leg you have in first. If I say right, then obviously you'll just know it's your left, whichever. What I tend to do on this one as well is I will place a cushion under my knee. So you see my knee is not so far off the ground, but when I fold forward, it feels like I'm going to topple that way. So, so I just place a cushion under my knee, just so that my body stays nice and even. Okay, and then from here, you can inhale and exhale, just walk your hands forward. So again, you can come down onto your forearms. You could put your forearms onto a pillow, or just walk forward to as much as you feel you can. Of course, if you have more availability, then you could extend your arms and put your head onto the ground. Not quite there yet. So I'm going to stay on my forearms. A little bit extended. And you could, like I say, put a cushion under your forearms. You could also put a cushion under your head. So I have another like thigh cushion here. So I'm going to see if my head reaches it. Just make sure that your right leg or your straight leg is nice and relaxed. So try not to engage your thigh. So just try to relax through your straight leg and relax through the foot as well. So rather than in our dynamic yogas where we point them up to the sky, we can just relax through the feet. So the target area for this pose is the inside of the straight leg, the adductors on the inside of the straight leg, and then the hip of the bent leg. Obviously your back also with your forward fold. If you're very, very tight in your hamstrings around the back of your leg, you're more likely to feel it there. But yeah, target area on the inside of the thigh and outside of the bent leg into the hip. But it's quite nice because then you kind of like get your forward fold with having just one hamstring involved, rather than if both of your legs are out and your hamstrings are quite tight, it'd be quite difficult for you to bring yourself forward. So another option also would be to put a rolled up towel just under your bum. So you would sit on the edge of the rolled up towel so that it tilts your hips forward a little bit. So you get an anterior tilt and it just helps you fold forward. So if you're struggling to fold forward, then maybe think about doing that. Just prop something up to the very edge of your bum. Okay, so gently now you can start to come out of the pose. So gently bring yourself up to seated, and we'll go straight into the other side. So put your cushion over to the other side, and then bend into, this is my right leg now, whichever one you did is fine. And then again, as I say, I put the cushion under my knee. Otherwise, when I fold forward, I almost feel like I want to fall to the side. So that just keeps me a little bit straighter. Okay. And then cushion to the front if you wish, and remember the cushion under your bum if that helps. Okay. And then exhaling to bring yourself down. And then once you're in position, just check in with your body and just say, okay, is my thigh engaged or is it nice and relaxed? Is my foot nice and relaxed? Is there anywhere where I'm holding some tension that I could just let go of a little bit? So just check in with your body and see. And then we'll stay in the pose for just over 3 minutes. So keep your breath nice and deep, and just with each exhale, just feel your body sink a little bit deeper as it trusts and starts to let go. Okay, so gently start to bring yourself up out of the pose. Nice and slow. Just remember we've been there for just over 3 minutes, so it takes that time for your body to sink nice and deep. And then we need to come out gently as well. So just removing your cushions, and then you can bring your legs in front of you, and we'll do the windscreen wiper motion again. So feet flat, hands come behind, and then just windscreen wiper your legs. So you may have found, I certainly did, that with the one leg bent in, with a half butterfly forward fold, I felt it more on one side of my lower back than the other. So whichever leg was bent in, I felt it more on that side. I'm not sure if it's the same for you guys, but see how it feels. Okay, so coming round now and bending your legs. So we're going to come into a bent leg caterpillar. So I really, really like this pose for your lower back. I think it's fabulous. So you'd want quite a big cushion or something under your knees. If you don't have a big cushion to keep your knees bent, then you can just bend the legs, it's fine. It's just quite nice with a cushion because you can then like relax. Okay, so then inhale and then exhale, fold yourself forward over your legs. So you've got nice bent legs, your body can come down onto your legs. And then just rest your head wherever is best for you. So if you've got your block, you could rest your head onto your block. What I tend to do is just fold my hands and rest my head on my hands. And just find the right bend for you. So actually, this is probably a little bit much for me. Yeah, I can't feel it in my lower back at all, but you guys might. So just but if you find your legs are too high, just straighten them a little bit and bring yourself forward. So my forward fold is quite good because my hamstrings are quite open. But here you can see that my body is touching my legs, whereas if I straighten my legs, it kind of is, but I'm hanging a little bit at the top, and I can feel it more in my hamstrings than in my back. So it's nice to have just that slight bend. Yeah, so your body comes down and then you can completely rest through your back and feel your muscles start to relax. So this is not only doing your lower back, but it's targeted the whole of your back. So the more dynamic equivalent of this posture, Paschimottanasana, is regarded as one of the top 4 yoga poses because it targets the whole posterior chain, so literally from your heels all the way up to the back of your head, especially when it comes to fascia where it's all connected. This pose becomes really quite comfortable. I find myself stay like it for a long time. But it's almost time to come out, so gently start to bring yourself to an upright position. Okay, and then as we're in our upright position here, you can bend through your legs, take the hands behind you. This time, rather than the windscreen wipers, we're just going to extend through the back. So push your chest out, lift your chest high. You can drop your head all the way back. And so we take the back into a extension, whereas we were in flexion. And then we can round through the back. And then again, take it into an extension. And then gently bring back to neutral. Okay, so we'll come to cat pulling its tail next. So lie yourself down onto your side. So, okay, let's all lie on our right sides so that there's no confusion when I'm saying left and right. Okay, so lie onto your right side and come to your elbow. Now, if you stay in that position, it's really nice to have a cushion under your rib cage here. So just see which position is good for you, but just remember that this is really nice. Okay, so from there, take your right leg, so your bottom leg, and hold it into your left hand. Now try to get your knee so it's pointing down to the bottom of the mat rather than forward like this. So down to the bottom of the mat and hold in your foot. Okay, your left leg can come straight and just cross it over here. Okay, so this is your first position. Okay, so, and this is where that cushion under your rib cage here is really nice because it takes all the pressure out of your shoulder. But if you want to, you could come down to lying down. So you aim towards your back, but of course your left shoulder is not going to come down completely. And then if it's possible, you could also take hold of your left toes. So if you've got a yoga strap, it's quite nice to put it around your foot, your left foot. And by all means, if you cannot reach your right foot with your left hand, so this one at the back here, then use a yoga strap. So hook it around your foot and hold on to it with your hand until you're able to hold your foot. Okay, so just checking your posture and just making sure that your right knee is still poking down towards the bottom of the mat. So this pose I really, really love, where you've got your front of your right leg, the back of your left leg. And if you're not holding your foot, don't worry. Then you've got the hip also of your top leg. And then you've got a spinal rotation. So it's a bit of a one pose does all. And then just try to relax through your legs. Just making sure we're not holding any tension. Your head can be wherever you find it comfortable. So with your mind, just try to let go of all of your muscles in your body. Try to switch them off. And just let the yin yoga pose and gravity do its work. So again, just check in with your legs. Just make sure that they are relaxed, not engaged. So release your thighs. You might find that they start to engage. So try to, especially the bent one, I mean, your thigh might start to engage. So just make sure, check in with your body and just relax through your muscles. So just a couple more breaths here. Okay, so if you've got hold of your left toes, you can gently release your left toes and then also release your right toes. Okay, so bring the knees together and then roll onto your back. And let's just lie here just for a moment so the back can get used to being straight again rather than twisted and everything else. Okay, bring the knees into the chest. And you can have a little roll around on your spine. Okay, so we're going to go on to the left side now, and I'm going to face away from you just so you can see exactly the leg at the bottom. Okay, so turning onto the left side, and then just remembering that you can place that cushion here again if that's where you want to stay. It's a nice bit of support there. So take hold of your left leg, and then just make sure that the knee is pointing down to the bottom of the mat. Okay, from there then you can straighten the right leg and just out to the side. Wherever it will reach is fine. Okay, and then if that's all good, then you can come down onto your back and then take hold of your right foot if that's possible for you. If it's not possible, you can just let your leg relax there, wherever it will go. You still get a nice release through the hips and down the iliotibial band, down the outside of your right thigh. And then again, just put your head wherever is comfortable. So just try to relax through your legs. Imagine everything sinking nice and deep into the mat. So just keep your breathing nice and deep. So your nice deep breath will really encourage your body to relax. It'll also really calm your mind. And if you have your gentle ujjayi where it's making just a gentle sound, then it's easier to fall into a meditative state. Okay, so gently you can release the top leg and then release your bottom leg also. You might find it springs away from you a little bit. Bring your legs together and then roll onto your back. Lift your hips up off the ground and centralize them on the mat. And just give your back a moment here just to get used to being straight again. And then you can bring the knees into the chest and then have a little roll around on your spine. So just have that nice little massage. And you can target where you felt it most. So actually I felt that a little bit more in my mid back. So if you pull your knees towards you a little bit more, the massage will come higher up your back. If you wanted it more towards lower back and sacrum, then just push your knees away from you and you'll find that that just gives you a nice little massage on your sacrum. Okay, so gently turning yourself over and we'll come into our Sphinx pose. So come up onto your forearms, and as always here, it's nice to have a cushion under your chest just to prop your body up a little bit. So mine's rather large, so just pop it under your ribs and it takes the pressure out of the shoulders, so it's quite nice there. Just try to relax through your bum, and you can take it deeper into your lower back by taking your legs a little bit wider. So just find a position that is good for you and relax through your bum. Just try to make sure that the shoulders don't end up around your ears, so keep your shoulders back and down, keep your neck long. And by all means, you don't have to put the cushion here. So even if on your forearms is too much, then you could also come to a Makrasana, where you would just wrap one hand on top of the other and rest your head down. This is also a very, very gentle hyperextension. So we'll stay here for 2 minutes, and then we'll have the option to take it into a seal pose, which is a little bit deeper, if you wish. So you could have anything here, like a rolled up towel or a cushion or a pillow, just something that will just take the weight into the chest so that it comes out of your shoulders. So of course this pose is actually stretching out the front of your body, but it's giving a little compression to your spine. So, and this like compression and flexion and extensions are good for your spine to keep it nice and healthy. Okay, so we've been here about 2 minutes now. So you can turn your hands just out to the side slightly and then straighten up through your arms. So I'm just going to move my cushion because it's a little bit too wide. So if you bring your hands closer to your body, then that will extend your back more, and so be more intense. If you moved your hands further away, then it's less intense. And by all means, you can stay on your elbows if that's best for you. I'm just trying to work on my lower back and my front actually. So actually stretching out the front of the body here. This is what I'm working on at the moment, hip flexors and front body. So hence bring my hands a little bit closer, increasing the back extension. So just whilst you're here, you'll probably have noticed that your bum has switched on. So just try to relax through your bum cheeks. Okay, so we've done now 1 minute there. So bring yourself down now onto your forearms, and we'll come into that Makrasana pose. So just wrap one hand on top of the other, and then place your head upon your arms, just to rest your back a moment. And then bring your hands to your shoulders and lift yourself up. We're going to come down into child's pose. So you have a choice here of what kind of child's pose that you would like to do. So I'm just going to stay with my knees the same width as my hips, and my feet in line. But if you want a little bit more on your hips, you can always take your knees out to the side, toes together, and then sit back onto your heels. So you've got a wide knee child's pose. So it's entirely up to you which position you take. So here in the wide knee child's pose, it targets a little bit more into the hips and into the adductors, or just your regular child's pose, knees hip distance, feet in line, and then just sit back. And then I'm going to take my hands beside my body and my palms facing upwards. Now, if it's a bit much for you to bring your head to the ground, you can always put a cushion in front of your head and rest your forehead onto the cushion. But yeah, otherwise I think it's quite an okay pose. Yeah, pretty comfortable. So this pose is also very nurturing for the body. So if you've ever got any tummy ache or menstrual pains, this pose is very nurturing. Okay, so then just bringing your hands towards your shoulders And just ease yourself up. Whether we come into a tabletop position, so just walk your hands forward. So your hands are under your shoulders and your knees are under your hips. Inhale, drop the back down, lift the chest, lift the gaze. And then exhale, take the back up nice and high, chin to chest and tailbone down. Inhaling, drop the back down, head comes up, chest comes up. And then exhaling, take the back up nice and high. Inhaling, drop the back down, head comes up, chest comes up. And then exhale, take the back up nice and high. Okay, bring yourself to a neutral spine. And then bring yourself round. Again, we're going to come to the back. So if you've got a rolled up towel or a yoga block or some kind of a cushion, I'm going to use one of these, although it's quite small. We're going to do an assisted happy baby. So lying down onto your back, bring your legs up. And then what we want to do is just lift up the hips slightly and just place the cushion just to the top of like the paddy bit of the bum. So where your bum it becomes quite squishy at the top here, then just place your pads there, your cushion, your block, whatever you have. And then hold on to the outside of your feet. So your feet are facing the sky. So imagine that you could just push away your ceiling. So your feet are nice and flat. And yeah, hold happy baby here with the support. It's quite nice. You'll feel if it's too far, if it's too high, because you'll almost be pushed up and over. You do want to be pushed up a little bit, but not to the point where you've got a lot of pressure to the mid back. So this cushion isn't quite big enough for me. I need to come up just a little bit more. But just having the block there or the rolled up towel, whatever you have, just gives a little bit of a sacrum release as well. So your sacrum is at the base of your spine, not the very base obviously, but like just where it comes onto your bum, the top of your bum. And you've probably heard of your sacroiliac joint. And so this just gives a nice release to the SI joint, just having that little bit of support under your bum. So here obviously we're targeting the hips also. So just allowing the knees to come down towards the underarms. And it may be that yours can come very low. My hips are a little bit tight, so they don't quite reach my underarms. So just try to relax through your feet. And although your hands are holding onto your feet, you can kind of relax your arms, just hang them there. Just your fingers holding onto the outside of your feet. And then just allow gravity and that little pressure from your hands to do its work and bring the knees closer to the underarms. So I always find this pose quite intense on my hip flexors. So just at the very top of your thighs where it comes on to like the main part of your body, your hip flexors, I always find that a little bit uncomfortable there because it's like crunching them together. So, okay, so releasing your feet and bringing your feet down to the ground, and you'll just have to remove your cushion or whatever you're using out of the way. Just pop it to the side and then just straighten your legs down the mat. So the area that I was talking to you about here in the very top of the thigh into the hip flexors is where I feel that most, and you might feel just a little bit of heat into the hip flexors now as we've straightened the legs since they've been kind of like crunched up, and now we give them a little bit of space. Okay, so place your feet onto your mat and then let's lift the hips up. So we just give the hip flexors a little bit more space. Okay, and then bring your hips down to the ground. And we're going to come into Bananasana, so banana pose. I'm going to move my props out of the way. Okay, so you lay on your back and you're going to walk your feet to the right side. So all the way to the right as far as they will go. Okay, and then what I do, you can cross whichever leg over, whichever one you prefer, but what I tend to do is cross the outside leg. So my legs have gone to the right. I cross my right leg over my left, so it almost traps it in place. Okay, and then wriggle your upper body round also. Now, you can stay with your palms at your side, your arms at your side and your palms facing upwards, or you could come into cactus arms. Or if you want to take it a little bit further, you can bring your arms above your head and maybe hold onto your elbow. So what I tend to do here is with my right hand, I'll hold my left top of my forearm towards my elbow and I'll pull over a little bit more and then relax into the pose. And I always think this is one of those poses which you don't feel it at all, really, whilst you're in it. And then as soon as you come out, oof, or as soon as you try to come out, it's pretty intense. So this is a really nice pose, as I'm sure you you may feel at the moment. If not, you'll certainly feel it when you start to come out. All down like the left side of your back, but particularly, I really think it targets your quadratus lumborum, which is a big muscle in your back. Can often be the cause of lower back pain, tightness in this muscle. So all the fascia that surrounds this muscle, there's an awful lot of fascia around your lower back as well. So this really targets, you know, into the back, into the side. Yeah, so I think this kind of flexibility here would really help your lower back. So just try to relax through your legs. Now I'd like to stay here a little bit longer, but we've reached 3 minutes and otherwise we're going to run over. So let's gently bring the upper body back to center. You can bring your arms down and then uncross your legs and bring your legs to center. Okay, and then you can bring your knees in towards, or bend your legs, put your feet on your sit bones, to your sit bones, and then bring your knees in towards your chest. And you can have a little roll around. Oh, bless me. Okay, and then bringing the feet down again and extending the legs down the mat. Okay, so we'll come to the other side. So walk your feet over to the left side this time, as far as they will go. And then whichever way you prefer, but I like outside in, so left leg crosses over right to trap it in place. Okay, and then move your upper body around to the left side. Oh, mine is very stiff right now. Hold on to your elbow or cactus arms, or stay in this position, however you prefer. And then just switch off. Your head can be wherever you find it most comfortable. And sometimes I find in this pose you need to adjust on your mat slightly, because if your feet come off your mat, maybe to your carpet, or for me onto the wooden floor, they tend to slide. So sometimes I need to maneuver on my mat so that my feet stay on the mat, so they can at least grip me in place. And it's funny, just notice how this side feels compared to the other. So does this side feel tighter, or does it feel more flexible? For me, bending to the right is much more difficult than bending to the left. But as I always say, this is why we do yoga, to find balance in our body and balance in our mind. Okay, so it's time to start making our way out of the pose. So bring your upper body round, and then bring your hands down by your sides, uncross your legs, and walk your feet back to center so that you're nice and even on your mat. And then bend through your legs, place your feet by your sit bones. And then again, you can bring the knees into the chest and feel that nice on your lower back. It's a nice little stretch for your back afterwards. A little roll around on your spine. Okay, so we're going to come into Shavasana, our last pose. Just before we do though,
Let's see if we can bring our heads all the way up to our knees. And then releasing down. And taking your legs down to the bottom of your mat. So the bottom corners of your mat for your feet. And then place your palms upwards and close your eyes. Just make sure that your shoulders aren't hunched up around your ears, so you can press your shoulders, push them down. And then just allow yourself to relax. So we'll stay here just for about 4 minutes or so. So gently start to bring the awareness back to your body on the mat. Start to have a little bit of movement through your fingers and your toes. Deepen your breath. And you can make that movement a little bit bigger, bringing it to the wrists and the ankles. And then take your arms all the way up over the top of your head. Bend your legs, place your feet by your sit bones. And roll to your left side, our yin side. Using your left arm as a pillow. When you're ready, gently bring yourself round to seated and keep your eyes closed. Place your hands in front of your heart center. So we'll finish the class with one arm. So take a deep breath in. Oh.
Slowly open your eyes. Namaste. Well done, everybody.